I'm going to give you a brief overview of the ear. First, let's talk about the anatomy of the ear. There's three major portions. First, you have the outer ear, and basically that's the ear canal. Okay. Then the middle ear contains the tympanic membrane, the ossicles, and the semicircular canals. The inner ear contains the cochlea and vestibular nerves. So, let's talk about as the sound comes in. So this first part right here is called the auricle or the pinna. It collects sound and directs it into the outer ear canal. So then this is the auditory canal. This right here is the tympanic membrane or the eardrum. Okay. Now, the next portion is the ossicles. Okay. And these are small movable bones in the middle ear. There are three of them. The first one is the malleus. It's also called the hammer. The manubrium of the malleus, and that's the flat portion, is attached to the tympanic membrane. The next one is the incus. Okay, so there's the malleus, there's the incus. It's also called the anvil. And the last one right here, that's the stapes. It's also called the stirrups. And it passes vibrations directly to the cochlea. They transmit and amplify sound from the air to the perilymph of the internal ear. And as we move on, we have the semicircular ducts. We're going to talk about those a little bit more later. But basically, these help maintain our sense of balance. Okay. Then we have the cochlear nerve, and this carries electrochemical signals from the cochlea to the central nervous system. And this right here is the cochlea. The organ of Corti is located in the cochlea. It is composed of mechanosensory cells called hair cells. And this portion right here is the eustachian or auditory tube. The tube runs from the middle ear to the pharynx. It functions to adjust the pressure of the air within the middle ear to that of ambient air, equalizing pressure on both sides of the tympanic membrane. Every time you swallow, blow your nose, etc., your ear pops. This popping is when the eustachian tube opens transiently, allowing air to pass from the middle ear to the back of the nose. Okay. Now, let's talk about how you can hear sounds. So first of all, the sound waves come in, goes through the outer ear, okay, and it causes the tympanic membrane to vibrate. The vibrations are transferred to tiny bones in the middle ear, which are the ossicles. The middle ear sends vibrations to the inner ear. These sound vibrations are then transmitted to the cochlea, which is in the inner ear. The sound vibrations cause the fluid inside the cochlea to ripple, and a traveling wave forms along the membrane. Hair cells, which are sensory cells sitting on top of the membrane, ride the wave. At this point, the sound vibrations are converted to electrical impulses. The auditory nerve then carries this electrical signal to the brain, which translates it into a sound that you can recognize and understand. The next thing we're going to talk about are the semicircular canals. Now there are three of them, and each stands at right angles to the other two. The first one is the anterior. Okay. Now this governs when the head moves up and down, like you're saying yes. The lateral, right here. This comes into play as the head shakes side to side as you're saying, like if you're saying no. And then the last one right here is the posterior, and that has to do when the head tilts towards the shoulder. These ampulla right here, this is a dilation at the end of the semicircular canal, and these canals open into the vestibule via the 5 ampullae. We have, these are the stapes, I'm sorry, and this is the oval window. This is a membrane-covered opening that leads from the middle ear to the vestibule of the inner ear. It is in direct contact with the stapes. Now, the other two we're going to talk about are the utricle and the saccule. These provide information to the brain about the head position when it is not moving. These are called otolithic organs, and they are of prime importance in directional sensation. The utricle registers acceleration in the horizontal plane, like you're traveling in a train. The saccule registers acceleration in a vertical plane, as you feel when you're going up in an elevator. Both organs contain hair cells. They contain otoliths, which are calcium carbonate granules. When you move your head, the otoliths graze the top of the hairs in both the utricle and saccule. This directional change is sensed by the brain. And that's it.